Planet Vero Studios, brought to you by Evergreen Media, creating cohesive marketing campaigns. Evergreen Media in Vero Beach.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Growing Old Fearlessly. This is Julie, and this is the show in which we talk about how to navigate the process of growing older, one day at a time. I love this show, Growing Old Fearlessly, and it's GO for short. Anyways, last week we spoke about how when my mom passed, she kind of left me in charge of taking care of my father. And during one of the 3 hospital visits that he's had within the last year, I learned that I truly didn't know anything about taking care of an elderly parent. It wasn't just about cooking his meals. It wasn't just about making sure that he drank his water. It was a whole lot more than that. And I found myself not knowing really what to do, what the next step was. One of the things that I mentioned last week is I did meet this one lady. Her name is Betsy. She works for Madeira Care Tenders. And she and one of my closest friends who lives in North Carolina were advising me. And I ended up moving forward with hiring a home health care agency to come into my dad's home so that they could take care of him while I was at work. And that it was not an easy choice to make, but it was the right choice. And I'm going to say, in the words of the author of The Inspired Caregiver, Tia Walker, caregiving often calls on us to mobilize resources within ourselves that we didn't even know we had. And I didn't know that I had it within myself. So I looked for resources outside of myself. And Betsy introduced me to my guest that I have here today. Her name is Teresa Stein, and she is with Attentive Premier Caregivers. Welcome, Teresa.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm so glad that you're here joining us, and we want to find out more about what you do, what your company does. But first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, I'm from Pennsylvania. I grew up with sisters who became a nurse. My whole family's in caregiving. My mom was a caregiver. So we're kind of pushed to that area. We moved down here to Florida, my husband and I started working for some home health companies and decided that I would like to go private on my own. So I put my name out there and I worked with a few doctors that I knew and got a private person. And it worked out. It was good. You could see the benefits of helping someone that couldn't help themselves. And the family members couldn't help them. They were either out of state or handicapped themselves. And so that's how I become to have my own company. In 2015, I spread my wings and went to Tampa, figured out what I had to do there to start a company with the licensure and all. And it was a lot of hard work, but it prevailed. And
that is great. And so you are a CNA.
I am
is that
a certified nursing assistant.
Great. And so you started your own company because you wanted to spread your wings. You wanted to do more, I'm sure, for your patients and for yourself as well. were there any other reasons why you wanted to start your own company in 2015?
I did. I originally wanted to help single moms. There were a lot of single moms out there looking. I had a lot of friends that were single moms, and actually they become my caregivers and raise their family working with me.
That is great. So you've had people working for you since 2015. That's a long time.
I have, and they're still there.
That's fantastic. That says a lot about the kind of business that you're running. So tell us about the services that you guys provide. What all do you guys do?
We do companion service, sitter, homemaker. We cook. We do light housekeeping, laundry. We do med reminders. So if they can't really tell to take their meds or not, we remind them. They're already made up by probably a home health agency or a family member.
Mm-hmm.
And we take them to doctor appointments, to the grocery store, out to the beach,
wow.
out to lunch, almost anything. I took a little lady up to North Carolina one time. She wanted to see her family and they couldn't make it here. So we drove her.
That is great. So that really helps, these elderly clients feel like they're still a part of society, right?
Correct. Yes.
So when you're in their home, I know that we talked about this a little bit. There are certain things that you can and you cannot do.
Right.
But so like bathing, you can't bathe. However, you can assist, correct?
Yes, we can stand by so they don't fall, hurt themselves, or injure themselves in any ways.
Okay.
Now, I do have, through the licensing I have that I can put a home health aide in there or a CNA in there or myself. I also work in the field and we can get that done.
Okay. And then, so you cook for them. You mentioned this. So it's like light cooking. You're not cooking for 5 people. You're just cooking for the one person.
Right. And if there's a spouse involved, we go ahead and do it. They're there. It's their family. We don't do, like major turkeys or
Right,
something
right.
like that, but
Not a major meal.
right.
But you do keep in mind like special diets and things like that.
Yes, we have diabetics. A lot of diabetics out there. They usually have a menu that they go by, and we try to stick to what the family members or that client has put forth for us.
Okay. And what about hours? This doesn't sound like it's a 9-to-5 job. So tell me a little bit about that.
Now, we are 24/7, round the clock. I have an on-call phone. And we also have a minimum of 4 hours. Sometimes that gets shortened. It's really what the client needs is how I go by it. There's not a set number, but it does help the girls that have to drive from where to where to, if they have 2 hours at least or 3 hours. And if there's something that we can't handle, we give it out to someone else, like a home health agency that has PT, OT, physical therapy, occupational therapy, and nursing.
Okay. So that would be kind of like the same way that Betsy from Maduri referred me to you. If you have someone who has specific needs, you would refer back to her, correct?
Yes.
And then they would do the physical therapy, the speech therapy, the occupational therapy, because that's not something that you cover.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. And they have done so much for our clients. I had a client yesterday who needed blood work, and she couldn't get out. Her back is hurt. So, of course, I called Betsy. She told me who to call, and they came out and done her blood work. So it made it so much easier for the client. And that's kind of how the community people work together to figure out what we can do to make it a little easier on the client. There's not a lot of information out there where to find help that you need and the certain kind of help you need.
Yeah. So this is really good how everything is kind of like everything is tied together. You know someone who knows someone who knows someone. And then that way, ultimately the client, the patient, the elderly person gets the help that they need. And someone like me, who is the thrown in caregiver at the moment, can find the resources that will help that person.
Right.
That is great. All right. We are going to take a quick break now, and we'll be back. Join us.
Hi, I'm Ralph Winook with Dale Sorensen Real Estate and ResidentialRalph.com. When you're interested in buying or selling a home, contact me. As your agent, I will work nonstop to ensure that your buying or selling experience is smooth and stress-free. I will be there for you at every stage of the process to answer your questions and help you make an informed decision. So, why wait? Contact me, Ralph Winook, and schedule a consultation with me today. Visit ResidentialRalph.com. That's right, ResidentialRalph.com.
Advertising is essential. You've got to make people aware that you're there. We can do that with a cohesive marketing campaign from Evergreen Media. Based on your business goals, we'll create a mix of digital advertising on social media sites like Facebook, video advertising on streaming sites like Hulu and Paramount Plus, and supplement them with local TV and radio ads. Build awareness, educate, and inform the public with a cohesive marketing campaign by Evergreen Media. Check out egreenmedia.com or search online for Evergreen Media in Vero Beach.
At Sunshine Furniture, our 35,000 square foot showroom is filled with the largest selection of in-stock coastal furniture on the Treasure Coast. Dining and bedroom sets, occasional tables, sofas, sleeper sofas, love seats and chairs, including lots of slipcover styles from Universal Upholstery, Four Seasons, and Capri. We also have a gallery of Tommy Bahama and Lexington furniture designed for a relaxed approach to the finer things in life. And right now, all pictures, lamps, and accessories are half price. Sunshine Furniture, $12.95 US 1 in Vero Beach next to Planet Fitness. Visit our website at sunshinefurniturecasual.com and also visit our outlet and closeout store directly across the street.
Sunshine Furniture, the best in every way. Have a sunshine day. Sunshine Furniture, stop on in today and have a sunshine day.
Hi, welcome back to Growing Old Fearlessly. Once again, I am Julie, and this is the show in which we talk about the things about growing older and the steps to take in the caregiving world. And today we have Teresa Stein here with us. She is with Attentive Premier Caregivers, and she works out of Vero Beach, Florida. Before we get right back to her, I want to give a thanks to my sponsors, Evergreen Media. They do have the largest podcast studio here on the Treasure Coast. And if you want to take a tour, come on over. You could host a show just like I am right now. I also want to thank Ralph Winook. He is Residential Ralph, and he is the expert on all of the real estate needs and also the Heroes on the Move program, helping veterans find their homes. And you can reach Ralph at residentialralph.com. So let's get back to Teresa, and welcome back, Teresa. Thank you so much for joining us. I wanted to ask you a few more questions in regards to home health care. and what your company does. So let's talk about some of the people who work for you. And you mentioned that there are some that started working with you back in 2015. So let's talk about some of those that have been with you the longest.
I have CNAs, home health aides, that actually went through home health aid school, went through CNA school since they've worked for me, the ones back in 2015. They are single moms, or they were. They may be married now. And they're my family. We also have companions, homemakers, sitters. I do have a nurse that actually works as a companion because she just loves the clients and loves the time spending with them. Said she's a nurse and she doesn't get a whole lot of time to spend with the clients. So
Wow.
she works part-time for me as a companion.
That is great. And you mentioned some of the services that your company provides. And I remember at some point I was out and about one day, and it was like somewhere near or right in front of a hair salon. And I saw somebody get out of a car and assisted an elderly woman. Do you guys take your people out to get like their hair done and let's get all fancied up?
We do, and we love to do that. Nails, hair. There was a lady who never had a pedicure, and we took her and we videotaped it at her wanting us to, and we watched it after we got back home, and she made us send it to every single one of her kids. She was so delighted. She had such a great time. I had a 100-year-old who said, on my 100th birthday, I would love to go stick my feet in the ocean. We took her down. We carried the wheelchair because we couldn't find one of those beach chairs, and she got to stick her feet in the ground at 100 years old. So them are some of the things that touch me and that I know I can do for a person that maybe it's her last wish, or a simple wish. And that's what we love to do. We love to keep them in their home where they're used to, do things that not normal caregivers would actually do.
That is great. That sounds like it's such a rewarding career. It makes you feel good as a person when you are taking care of somebody else.
Yeah, it makes me smile.
That is great. And I'm sure it makes the people who work for you smile as well.
Yes,
That
I have
is great.
wonderful, wonderful caregivers.
That is great.
The
So
best.
some of your clients, I feel like I am like one of those exceptions where I live here. My dad is 90 years old. I see my dad every day. I keep tabs on what's going on. But some of your clients don't have relatives that are nearby, right?
Correct. Most clients, some don't have family. We become their family. Some have family that are out of state, can't come because of medical reasons. So we become their instant family. As far as anything they need, hurricane time, we've actually brought them into our home. I had a lady come stay with me, and the girls volunteer. If they're in a mobile home, they can't stay there.
Right.
So they've actually came into our homes.
Wow. So they really, truly do become your family.
They do.
That is great. And that is one of the reasons why when your company was going to my dad's home to take care of him, I felt so comfortable and I was able to leave him at home and I would go to work because not all of us have the ability of staying at home with the elderly parents, and a company like yours really is like godsend, just about. So tell me, how do people contact you?
I have an on-call phone 24/7. It's 772-321-1774. And I also have my personal phone, which I put out there, is 772-205-5785.
Okay, and that was just on the screen. And do you mind repeating it for the people who are listening to the podcast?
Sure. 772-321-1774. Or my personal phone, 772-205-5785.
Great. So during our break, we were chatting a little bit, and you mentioned about caregiver burnout. Do you want to tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, the homes we go into mainly it's not that the family member doesn't want to take care of their family. It's that they have been taking care of their family for years and years, or months and months, and hours and hours. And there is a real thing called caregiver burnout. And that's something we look at and move forward to, and suggest different things that the family member or the caregiver that is there could do to help themselves, to let us get involved in some of the extra things they need. If I see one of my workers getting caregiver burnout because we get so close to the clients, automatically they take a break. We watch very close for that. The girls are very honest to say, we're exhausted. They work so hard. And so it is a real thing. And a lot of people in families don't realize that there's such a thing as caregiver burnout.
Wow. So what would so what do you recommend for them to do? Like when it is one of your employees and she's getting burned out, like what do you recommend her to do?
Well, I usually put her on a shorter case, a smaller case, or time off to relax.
Okay. How about
a break?
And then how about somebody like a relative who is constantly taking care of someone? What are your recommendations for someone like that?
Attentive premier caregivers.
Call somebody to help out.
Yes.
That's what you need.
Yeah.
That is great. I do have to mention, you guys are licensed.
Yes, we are.
You're insured.
Yes.
The whole thing. They are here to help you. The phone number, Teresa's personal number, 772-205-5785. And the other number that you can leave a message at, it's 24 hours, 772-321-1774. Attentive Premier Caregivers. I am so happy that you were able to make time in your busy day, because I know that you are also hands-on with some of these patients or clients.
Yes.
So we do appreciate, you taking the time to come out here, talk to us about it. And I want to leave our viewers and listeners with the words from Walt Disney. Laughter is timeless. Imagination has no age, and dreams are forever. Thank you, everybody, for listening and watching our podcast today. And we will see you again next week. Until then, keep on growing old fearlessly. See ya. Bye-bye.